Hi, I'm Bryce with 411, and this is my friend Lucas's Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport. So today we're going to be taking a look again at my friend Lucas's Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport. And there's a lot more than what meets the eye when it comes to this Tacoma. We're going to be doing a little bit of a build review and then taking it off-road a little bit just to see what this thing is capable of. So I figured we'd start off with a quick walk around. And now, as you can see behind me, you have a Lunar Rock Gray Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport. It's four-wheel drive, of course, and he's done quite a lot to the car. There's no shot I would ever remember everything that's done to it. So I have a list. So some of the big things that stand out, he did a 5.29 re-gear from Revolution Gears, King 2.5, coilovers, and a DRT body mount chop relocation kit. Now he has beadlock raceline wheels, and they're wrapped in 35-inch BF Goodrich KO2s. And this thing just looks phenomenal. He has the roof rack, all of these awesome lights, the light pods, the huge light bar, and then rock sliders going down the side of the truck. You have the bed rack, and this thing is so capable off-road. Just getting to this point, we had a lot of fun and really got to test it out and, you know, kind of explore the limits a little bit. And it's been a lot of fun. And something even better is what's inside, because this is a manual Toyota Tacoma. All right, so we went over a few of the things that have been done to the truck, some of the stuff that's been added, but what do you get if you just roll up to Toyota and get a stock TRD Sport? Well, now you can't get this here anymore or this body style because, well, they've introduced a new one, but back in the day, you would get a V6 with a little under 300 horsepower. You get some safety features when you get the TRD Sport, like collision avoidance and lane departure warning, but there are some things that, even though this is a truck that's only a few years old, that it's missing that you would expect in a vehicle made past the year 2020. Like, you still have halogen lights, no LEDs in the front. It doesn't have keyless entry. You have to pull out your key and actually physically unlock it. And there's no blind spot monitoring. You have to use a physical key to turn it on. And really, there's just a few things that it's missing that you would expect in a newer truck. In the rear of the truck guy stuff, you got a 5.5-foot bed, which there is a longer bed option. Not sure off the top of my head if you can get that with the TRD. And the tailgate, beautifully dampened. It doesn't slam when you open it, which is quite nice. And there's been a lot of attention to detail spent in the bed of the truck, which actually helps make it feel a lot more modern when you're back here. You have LED lights, a power source, this really nice rubber bed liner. It's not all left to be raw metal like a lot of trucks that scratches up. No, there's actually a lot of attention, a lot of time spent in the back of the truck, which is quite nice when you are, I guess, buying a truck. But enough said with the rear of the truck. Let's hop inside and take it for a drive. It's been a while since I drove manual. It's been a while since I drove a manual truck, even longer since I've driven a manual truck. But I have to say, it's one of those things where you never know quite how to explain when something's really good, but it's easy to explain when something's bad. And we're taking this truck down a very windy, very narrow road to get to where we just shot. And I have to say, the compliance that this truck has is really nice. It has very little body roll, and obviously the King suspension soaks up any abrupt bumps or potholes or washboard in the road and things like that. Oftentimes I feel when you see people lift trucks, they get floaty and the steering kind of loses its feeling. You know, it feels very, very open, but this steering still feels very direct. And yeah, it doesn't feel like it's going to tip over, which is awesome. Very well done. But when you are driving manual, I will say one of the things that's important is seating position. Seating position is like one of the most important things when you're driving a manual car. And I have to say, the seating position in the Tacoma is far from ideal. I feel like my knees are at nearly a 90-degree angle. So it's not the most comfortable thing to sit in long term. The seat's relatively comfortable, and the seats are, they have these awesome seat covers on them. They're actually cloth seats, but he went ahead and he put these leather seat covers with like really nice white accent stitching. Very tastefully done, Lucas, I will say. I'm glad he didn't go too crazy with a bunch of crazy different colors. I've seen, you know, seat covers with, I don't know, cow print, and we avoided that, which is nice. But no, everything still feels so good. If you got in this truck and drove it, I don't know that you'd really know that it's been as modified as it is. It drives so normal. But when you are sitting in the cabin, it does feel a little dated, and it's made sense. This body style's been out nearly a decade before it just recently got refreshed this year by Toyota. It does have Apple CarPlay, although it is wired. It does have wireless phone charging, which is nice, and it has a feature I don't see on too many cars where you can actually toggle on and off the wireless phone charging pad, which I find to be very interesting. The AC works really well in the truck, which is really important in Arizona, especially as we're getting in and out of the truck while we're filming. But the one thing I do have to say is the AC controls are very interesting. You have a very small screen, and it's like pointed down and away from you, and then the font, the way the font is, it makes it look like it's completely sideways, which is very funny on Toyota's part. Now, the Tacoma's been out for quite some time. It's been a crucial part of Toyota's lineup. It makes up a huge part of Toyota's sales, and it really dominates this size of trucks category, this kind of mid-size pickup truck, and for good reason. It has a very respectable towing capacity, fantastic four-wheel drive system. In the TRD Sport model, we have a locking rear differential, four-wheel drive high and low with an automatic transfer case. And it's just so capable, and with the modifications, even more so capable. But I mean, where we are, what we're going through, I mean, you could take a stock Tacoma here, no issue at all. So is the Tacoma, is this generation of Tacoma still worth a buy in 2024? And I think it is. There are some things that are, yes, a little bit outdated about it, but I mean, they're really quite small things in the grand scheme of things. And especially if you plan to modify this, I mean, as a platform, there is so much available for this truck. I mean, you can literally do anything. The modification list to this car is ginormous. I mean, the amount of money that's been put into this truck to get it to where it's at today is ludicrous. It's a ton of money, and there's still more money to be spent. Lucas tells me there's more money to be spent, from aftermarket bumpers to long arm travel kits to bed tents. I don't even know. He says a bunch of words, and I'm not a guy who knows a lot about off-roading stuff, so a lot of times I tend to just nod my head and agree. But it's sick, and seeing how far this truck has come since he's owned it, because he bought it when it was just a brand new truck stock. He was chopping the body and relocating the body mounts when the truck had under 1,000 miles on it, cutting the fenders to fit 35s on it. I mean, it has come a long way, and it's certainly not just your average Tacoma that you see cruising around. But now here we finally got it on a little bit of dirt and got off the windy, twisty asphalt road, and we're going over these badly washboarded roads, and I have to say, it soaks it up really well. Maybe not quite as well as this pre-runner we're passing, but very well. And that's the really cool thing about a Tacoma, is you can kind of have this like half overland, half pre-runner style build where it can really go anywhere. You can camp with it, but then you can actually take it to the desert and carry some speed through the roads. You can carry some momentum. Like a Jeep right now would be, with the solid front axle, would be no fun at all, you know, gunning through the desert, and we're not carrying really hardly any speed. But I mean, I can tell you from experience, driving the Jeeps off-road, they're not the most confidence-inspiring things. Very understeery, you get a lot of bumps and feel through that solid front axle. It's a lot better for crawling, but this is surely a lot better if you just want to go and gun through the desert. Yeah, and so as we have it on these bumpier roads, going through these dirt roads, it's a blast to drive. The KO2 BF Goodrich tires feel so hooked up on the dirt, and as you start to carry some momentum, especially over the washboard, the bumps kind of, well, for the most part, fade away, and what doesn't fade away gets absorbed very well. Yeah, not a lot of vibration, as you can tell with my test. And man, it's a blast to drive out here. I could really understand the appeal of coming out into the desert. There's no one around and kind of romping around. And the Toyota Tacoma, it does that really well. I think it does a lot of things well. You can, use it as a commuter and you can drive it to work. The person who owns this truck, yeah, he does use it as a commuter. He drives it to work. And I can definitely see the appeal. And I will admit, the one thing I've been impressed by is the transmission. The clutch feels really good. It's super easy. I haven't stalled the truck once. And the gears, I mean, looking at it, I was expecting a very kind of sloppy shifter feel, or, to maybe be able to miss gears easily. But no, it actually feels great. It feels phenomenal. It's very easy to find gears. Very easy to shift. Doesn't do any rev matching or anything like that for you, but that's okay. When you're upshifting, the revs drop quite slowly, which makes it very easy to match the RPMs up. And yeah, going through some of these hills and these crests, the truck eats it up. It loves it. No, I definitely think that Tacoma is a worthwhile buy in 2024. This generation, it's still fine. You have a ton of technology. You have Apple CarPlay. You have the things that you need. And you have options for more. I mean, if you look at the TRD Pro, it comes with a lot more of the bells and whistles that you would maybe come to expect of a vehicle in 2024. And the new one, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily better looking. I don't think it's a whole lot more capable. You're not getting anything much bigger. I think, really, if you want the new truck, that's fine. But I think this one will still serve you very well. Again, especially if you're looking to modify it. Lucas has done a great job putting this truck together very tastefully and putting attention into the right places as well. The suspension, the gearing, making sure that, it drives as good as it looks. And he's done a phenomenal job at that. I mean, you can just tell by the way it eats up all these bumps. Everything has come together to make a really nice feeling truck. And he didn't go all in on the bumpers and everything first, and I think that's a good call on his part. Well, as we close out, I just want to say a huge thank you, first of all, to Lucas for trusting me with his baby and allowing me to take it out off-roading. And a thanks to you guys if you've watched this far. If you've watched this far, we're a new channel. I'd love it if you would like and subscribe to the channel as we continue to bring you reviews of new cars, of my friends' builds, and more. Thank you guys again for watching. I'm Bryce with 411, and have a great rest of your day.